So those 3 wells will give us a JORC, they'll give us a PFS, they'll give us a pilot study, and then we're ready to get down and go into production.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Pantera Lithium Chairman and CEO Barnaby Edgerton-Warburton. Barnaby, very good to meet you. You're up with your half-year report today. Before we get into that, for viewers not familiar with the company, tell us a little bit about Pantera Lithium.
Okay, so we're a US-focused Southwest Arkansas lithium brine player. Southwest Arkansas and the Smackover is probably the lithium capital of the US right now, with the behemoths like Exxon, Equinor, Albemarle all in the play. So Pantera finds itself right in the middle, in the hotspot of that play.
Intimidating to have such strong neighbors around you, Barnaby?
Not really. We're all working for the greater good. However, they are the big boys, and what they do for us is that they validate the play that we're in. We had started working on the Smackover before we knew Exxon was in the play, and as it turned out, Exxon is our neighbor. So, not intimidating, validating, and certainly proves to the market and to investors in the industry that this is a real jurisdiction and a primary focus for lithium producers in North America.
Barnaby, you're up with your half-year report today, so that's for the first half of your 2024 financial year. I suppose last year was the first year really that you had your feet on the ground in the Smackover area. Tell us about some of the progress you've made over the last 6 months.
Well, the first thing we did, knowing the kind of industry and the way it works in these kind of plays, is that we secured an exclusive abstract over 50,000 acres. What that means is we went to the only company that can provide us commercially, or provide anyone commercially in Lafayette County, with the owners or the ownership of the minerals. So we went and secured that. We've then subsequently leased 26,000 acres, which is a large acreage position, and we continue to increase on that. We have basically completed our subsurface work to drill the first 3 main wells coming up this year. What that will allow us to do, and what that has allowed us to do, is identify those points where we'll get the highest grade lithium, the greatest flow. It takes us onto a JORC resource, a PFS, and then allows us to put a pilot plant out on site. And this can all be done in the next 12 months period.
You mentioned those 3 wells. When do you expect to start drilling those, Barnaby?
Well, I've just got the first draft by our independent geologists for our subsurface, for our location, our well locations. That's just come through. We'll revise that and look at that over the next couple of weeks, and then make a plan. So we would be looking to spud the first well in the next couple of months.
How optimistic are you about those wells, and what do you expect them to deliver?
Well, the great thing about the lithium brine industry is that you're drilling for water. And if anyone's like I've come from the oil and gas background, if you are drilling for oil and gas, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, terrified of, will I have success? Won't I have success? The one thing you always find in the oil and gas wells is salt water. And where we are in the Smackover, it's basically an ocean underneath us. So we know we will get results. And depending on grade, we think our grade will be anywhere from 250 to 400 parts per million, moving from south to north. So we're very confident. And we have our neighbours who have drilled wells right on the border. So while we don't have their specific data, we can see the average grade, say, Standard Lithium and Equinor, who are 15, 20 kilometres away to the northeast. So we've got a pretty good idea that we'll have a fair amount of success where we are.
So confidence about drilling success, Barnaby. How about the lithium market itself? How confident are you of a recovery in the market?
There are a lot of people walking around with their heads hung low, wondering what's going on. There's a lot of there's a lot of narrative about a slowdown in EV sales, which is actually not the case. EV sales are flying, especially in China. There are a lot of companies running around, even in Western Australia, chasing the hard rock players for offtake. We've had multiple approaches. We're just not ready. So what does that tell us about the lithium market? It tells me that in North America, you are developing an environment where lithium will be mined or produced, it'll be refined, and then it'll go into batteries all in one country. This is what the US is pushing for. This is what the Trump administration is pushing for. And so what does that mean for price? It means transparency. It means the Chinese can no longer manipulate the market as much. So when we look at EV, we look at battery storage, we look at utility, we look at AI demand, and then outliers like humanoid robots demand. We see a 2027 recovery and that inflection point where demand outstrips supply. And if you look at any of the big, the benchmark guys, they're basically forecasting that by 2035 we need an extra sort of 300 mines to come online, and that's just not going to happen. So a recovery in lithium price is coming. Everyone knows it. No one's focused on it right now except for industry. But the market buys these trends 12 months before. So I think we've got maybe a little bit. This year it's a bit slow, but coming into 2026, I think things really start to take off.
Barnaby, why should investors be excited about Pantera Lithium?
As I said before, we're drilling 3 wells. We're right in the hotspot. If you look at our last investor presentation we put out last week, there's a great map. And what it does is it shows you who our neighbours are. So we are in the hotspot. By drilling 3 wells, we can effectively take our project through to BFS, a bankable state. And we are the only listed junior in this play. You can go and buy Exxon. You're not going to get the exposure to lithium. You can go and buy Standard, a great company. They will move with lithium. You can buy Equinor. You'll get no movement there. And then there's Albemarle, or there's us. We have a 10 million market cap. If you want a 10, 15, 20 times return on your investment from a small, highly leveraged group, that's what you look for from us. So those 3 wells will give us a JORC. They'll give us a PFS. They'll give us a pilot study, and then we're ready to get down and go into production.
Barnaby, I hope you'll keep us updated on any progress. Thank you very much for the introduction today.
My pleasure, Stephen. Great to meet, and look forward to talking to you again.
That's Pantera Lithium Chairman and CEO Barnaby Edgerton Warburton.